Alrighty, I'm going to be getting started on my 9x12 canvas this time, a little bit smaller, and I do have the traceable image available for this if you'd like to draw it out first, as I've done here. And I have it in three sizes, the 9x12 that I'm using, 8x10, and also 11x14. And also there's a short video on how I transfer images to my canvas using wax transfer paper, as I've done here, as you can see. So to get started on my palette, I have some raw umber, some burnt umber, a little bit of violet, a little bit of permanent red, some cad orange, yellow medium, titanium white, and a little permanent black this time. So I'm going to take my 3/4 inch angle brush here. This is going to help to get around everything very precisely and do the background. And for that, I'm just going to take a little bit of permanent black to start with. And I'm going to grab a little raw umber into that so it's not super black. Okay, just a little bit, just a dark value. Okay, something kind of like so. Okay, just loading up the bristles, and I'm just going to start applying this back here for now with this. Okay, something like that. I'm just going to get that on there. And now let's see. I'm going to go ahead and clean my brush now. I want to get the black off of there. I want to dry it out just a little bit, because too wet, I'll go through this paint that's still wet and cut through it, and just kind of underbinds the paint and kind of lifts it off the canvas if I don't dry it first. So all good there. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of the burnt and raw umber together. Okay. Let's see, I'm going to get just a little bit of yellow into that just to warm it just a hair. Okay, not too much. Okay, something like that. And now maybe just a little bit of titanium white. Okay, so I'm thinking something like this light warm brown color here. And what I'd like to do is I want to make it straight with the canvas, okay? And I want to apply this value on top of this black value now. And I want to leave it open here and over here, but right here, I want to show kind of like the background of, like, you know, this wood panel wall maybe. Okay, all the guests are coming over for the holidays. I don't know, this could be for Christmas or Thanksgiving. Okay, whatever you want to call it in your painting, it's all good. Okay, just grabbing a little bit more of that burnt umber. Okay, getting some more of that brown to show up here. And let's see, I'm just gonna kind of do something like this. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit more white into this. Maybe a little bit more yellow to warm that a bit, okay? So let's see, going back and forth here until I find that color I want, okay? A little bit more brown into that, kind of a beige color here. Okay, a little bit lighter, a little bit more warmed up. And in just some spots, okay? See that? Okay, something like that. And I'm going to go ahead and clean my brush now and move on. And I'll, like I said, come back to that and fill that in more. It's just background, so I don't know. I may or may not come back to it. Okay, I have my number 6 filbert brush here. It's got a decent edge on it, and I'm going to use it to get these glasses and just some things moving forward here. And so what I'd like to do now is I'm going to take, again, just a little bit of this brown, and this time I want to lighten it with some titanium white. Okay, I'm just going to sort of get this in here a little bit, and just want to fill in the glass here. I'm going to get this transparency to happen, but I just want to get these values separated. Of course, if I do the same value, I'll lose the glass into the background, but I want the background to be seen through the glass. And so I'm just, again, it's all about base colors first. And with base colors and acrylics, as you know, it's always messy looking. Nothing looks like it should. And rightly so, it's not supposed to. I need this base color stuff underneath to really make this happen. Okay, so I'm going to go in here and kind of do something like this to kind of show where the glass is at as far as what's in the glass here. Okay, just kind of have the liquid kind of come up to about this point. So I'm just going to I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap here, okay, to show the rim of the glass. So let's see, I want to go now with, let's see, titanium white. Okay, no cleaning. I want to get a very light value going now, and right back in here, I'm going to start hitting the rim. Okay, getting that to show up, see, something like that. And of course, this is going to be all blurred out, so I'll get those blurry effects here in a minute. I just want to get the value set, and I want to get those transparency effects to happen. And then I can work with that and start fuzzing out the lines and getting that out of focus look to happen from there. All right, so let's see, I'm going to go just some white streaks in here. Just kind of playing this stuff in general locations here. Let's see, there's going to be some light hitting right here on the glass. Okay, just kind of getting that put in there. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and clean this brush now. I want to get that light out of there. And now that I have the rim established, what I'd like to do, actually, I'm going to take a little bit more white. All right, and I want to really hit this over here. Okay, this is going to be more of an area there where the light's going to be hitting stronger. Okay, right here as well. I'm going to have it come down, kind of do something like that, a little striking highlight there. Let's see, I'm going to put a little striker there. Okay, I'm going to wipe a lot of that paint off the brush for the most part, and now what I want to do is take that background color of raw umber and burnt umber together, okay, for those browns. And let's see, let's get a little yellow, maybe a little white. Okay, something like that. And here's what I want to do now. I want to go into the background a little bit more because I want to enhance. See, now it's dried a little bit and I can enhance the background with more of this color, just because I want to show that color in the glass and reflect it, just show that transparency effect. Okay, so I'm just gonna sort of just kind of do a rough little streak through, I guess, if you'd call it that, with this color. Okay, just gonna run that down into that. Okay, kind of gives the impression of some wood panel maybe. Okay, I want to get these going vertical as well. Okay, something like that. And let's see, now I want to go in here and I'm going to apply this value, that same value, right in here, not covering up that white though for the rim glass. And I do want to thin it out kind of in the middle right here. So see, I'm going to knock some of this white here for the rim glass up here a little bit. Okay, not all the way, of course. Okay, something like that. Now it looks like maybe the background is kind of showing through a little bit also. I want to show a little bit of that in here. I'm going to go on top of this now. Okay, and now we're going to get that background showing in there a little bit. Okay, now without cleaning, I'm going to take a little bit of black and let's get a little bit of raw umber into that. Okay, very dark value. Okay, and let's see, I kind of want to go just a little bit in here. And I'm kind of brushing this vertical line horizontally to just kind of give it that out of focus look, so I can break up the line so it's not just one hard vertical line, because then it won't give that out of focus look that I want. It'll be harder to blend it out. All right, let's see. I'm gonna go a little bit of this black in here, this dark value here. Okay, cleaning this brush again, and now let's go back into some titanium white. Okay, just something like that. And as you know, layers are everything in acrylic, so the white is not showing up as bright. And I also had some of that brown there. Now I'm just taking pure titanium white, and I really want to make these places here very opaque. And let's see, I'm going to go in here with that right here next to this highlight here that I did. I don't want to go too strong. I just want to make it like a hint. So I'm going to wipe some of that paint off my brush. And I just want a little bit of paint because I can drag it out and dust it out more. Okay, get it more looking kind of out of focus in that way, okay? And then also, let's get more opacity right here with that white on this side. Okay, a little bit more white now. I want it heavier right here. Okay, something like that maybe. Okay, now wiping a lot of paint off the brush, I just want to glaze over this. See this? This is going to give the impression of glass and transparency looking through it. And when I say glaze, I mean I want some of that brown showing through for sure. I don't want to take over all of it. Okay, petting this down vertically because I want everything to look like it's reflecting the vertical look to just how it is. Okay, something like that. Now, what I'd like to do is, again, go into some of this browns. Okay, raw umber, burnt umber mixture here. And I want to go back in here. Okay, adding some more of that in there. Let's see, let's just kind of, just want to pet some of this in here. Okay, just a little bit. Okay, with that brown left on my brush, I want to go in here and just knock back some of this white. I want it to barely show up back here, but it'll be seen enough. Okay, just kind of something like that. And I'll have it more heavier on these sides here. Okay, something like that. Okay, just kind of petting that in a little bit. Okay, now I want to clean my brush off. Get those browns off of there. Let's go back into more titanium white. Okay, just kind of drying my brush off. And let's load some white up now. Go back into that. Build up some more layers. All right. Thinking something like that. Okay, a lot heavier. And let's see, also right here. Okay, that's a lot more noticeable there. All right, something like that. And now what I want to do, let's see, I want to wipe a lot of that paint off the brush again. And I want to streak in these little things here. And also, again, I'm going to streak over and kind of pet over some of this again with that white. Okay, and one color I forgot to add to my palette, but I don't need it until just now. Phthalo blue. Gotta have phthalo blue. And I'm going to take some of that now. All right, phthalo blue. Let's take a little bit of raw umber just to dull it down. And barely any of that color on my brush because I want mostly titanium white. Because what I want to do is take kind of this blue value sort of hue. Okay, not too much blue. It'll take over. It's very strong. And just a little bit. All right, let's see. All right, something like this. Okay, it's got that blue hue in it. And one thing about blue hues is I love how it pops colors and shine. And I want to add some of that right in here. Just a teeny bit of paint, kind of using just barely any of the bristles here. Okay, I just want to kind of blend that in just a little bit, just to kind of give the indication of some shine. Okay, kind of something like that. And also, I want to go with that same color, and I want to go something like this where the glass is. Got, the liquid in there and all of that. So I'm going to go up to here with this. Okay, something like that. I'm going to go ahead and clean this brush now. Let's go titanium white again. Just a teeny bit of that color right here. All right, and maybe just a touch of raw umber, not much. All right, that's good right there. Okay, a very muted down, pain's kind of a gray color here. And I want to play this onto here. Okay, see, just kind of like this. Yeah, I don't know what this drink is. It's anything you want it to be. Pick your favorite drink at your holiday. What are we having to drink? Let me know in the comments, if you would, what you want yours to be. Okay, we'll play a little game. All right, I want more of this color, maybe in some places here and there. And even in here, I just want to sort of reflect some of that in here. I just want pure titanium white. Pure titanium white. And let's see, I want to go again right here. And I don't want to cover all that blue hue up. I want to leave some of it. All right, something like that. And let's see, I'm going to go kind of heavy over here with some of that white. Let's see, a little bit more of this white. Okay, kind of shows our drink line right here. Okay, just getting those streak things happening in there. All right, something like that. Let's see, I'm gonna go a lot of that right in here too. Let's see. More titanium white on my brush. I'm gonna go a lot heavier right here with that bright. All right, so I'm just gonna put this white in. As you see, I'm just kind of playing it around, skipping some of this blue value, you know, letting some of it show, kind of do its thing. And here's the thing, I don't want it so obvious blue like this, so I am gonna go over this a little bit, and I'm gonna wipe a lot of that paint off the brush because you'll still see a hint of it. And see, that's the thing with colors, is sometimes it's not the color, it's a hint of that color that makes the color what it is and its final. Okay, its final outcome. And that's exactly what I want to accomplish. Something that's a hint of something gives it that more realistic look. Okay, and then just trying to slap a color on and wonder why it looks weird. Because you have to play subtly with this stuff if you want it to look the way it should and pop it and all those things and get that final color. It's all about the layers and the colors underneath that react with other ones, and it just will become magnificent. So don't quit. You can do this. You can totally do this, I promise. All right. I feel like I should be selling these painting lessons and saying, if you're not satisfied in 90 days, your money back. I'm telling you, you will. Follow me and you will succeed. I'm telling you, you will pull it off. And you can do this. All right. Just getting more of that light color in here, just streaking it here and there. Okay, and of course, I can always knock back this color. Anything that's too much, that's the cool thing with acrylics. That's why you're never, ever in a pinch and you're never done. And you don't have to live with anything you don't like. You can always cover it up, knock it back, change it. They dry so quick that it's like having a brand new canvas in front of you, but a different color, and you can paint anything you want on it. And it's like it never happened. All right, so let's go now. Let me see. I think I'm going to take a little bit more white. And again, I want to go real bright in here. And again, I don't want to take over this outer blue hue. Okay, that really helps for shine and pop. I just want to play this white in with that blue. I want these two to become really best friends. I want that white and that blue to go, hey, buddy, old pal, let's play together. Let's live right here together and be the best neighbors. And we'll make this picture look really cool. All right, so right there, just letting that white move in with that blue right there. Okay, they're gonna be pals for life. All right, something like that. Let's get some more of that white, heavier. Okay, right here. If I spill outside again, I can take this dark background with some brown. Yeah, just cover that up. Okay, fix it. Never a mistake. I mean, not ever. Okay, let's put some more of that white right here, really heavy. All right. Okay, just kind of glaze, and again, letting some of that blue show, and of course the blue will show through some of this white anyways. And that's exactly what I want to accomplish there, okay? Hey, something like that. It just kind of gives that ring to it. I'm gonna go ahead and clean that brush off now. All right, now, one thing I'd like to do is, as I move on, is I want to get this out of focus going on it. So I'm gonna use my same brush, and I'm gonna take a little bit of this black and let's see, raw umber to it. And maybe some burnt umber too, so it's not super dark, but kind of dark, okay? I'm thinking kind of like that. And just a teeny bit of paint on the brush, just barely any at all. And what I want to do now is see this line, it's kind of hard. And I want to go kind of like that, just barely any pressure with my brush. I'm just going to pet the very outside like this. See this? And this is going to create that out of focus look. See, something just as simple as this. You just want to make that line fuzzy. That's all that is. When you want to take an object and make that object look blurred out, this is all it takes right here. Okay, see that? I'm going to let some of this dark value kind of creep over just the very edge here. Okay, just like this. Okay, something kind of like that. I know it's very subtle, but trust me, it'll make a huge difference here in just a minute. Okay. All right, same thing here. Just gonna go over this. Okay. Something like this. Okay. So it's just kind of subtle. Again, it's not like a big, huge deal. Okay, I'm going to sort of go over this right here in the very middle of this rim here, because when I fade it out like that, that's going to also help give it the impression of bokeh, because bokeh means that things not only have blended lines like this or fuzzy lines, but sometimes, or a lot of times actually, the object that is supposed to be out of focus will blend into other objects, or like the background especially. And that blended in look, where they look like they're blending into one another, is what gives that out of focus look, as opposed to abrupt changes from a color to another color with hard lines. Then you're in focus again. So depending on how much of a fuzzy edge and how blended you want to make this will determine how out of focus it looks. Does it look a little out of focus? Does it look like super out of focus where it's very distorted but you can still tell what it is? No, that's up to you. And so it's fun to play around, and I like these paintings where you can do more or less to it and then make objects look further away and more out of focus, and one's closer, maybe not as out of focus. And so you get to play with those contrast elements, and the eye has much more fun looking at it when it's done, instead of just, oh, that's nice. You know, and it makes it so cool to look at. All right, cleaning my brush. I'm gonna take some more titanium white again, and I want to hit this again, but I don't want to go outside on these fuzzy lines. I want to keep this in the middle here, away from those lines. Let's just in the middle, just to brighten this up, but it still has that out of focus look. Okay, something like that. And let's see, I'm going to hit this again. I'm going to go this like kind of circular deal here to show that kind of out of focus look. See, like that. You're just going to pet this down a little bit like that. All right, and again, not covering up all that blue on the very outside there. Okay, and again. All right, something like that. Okay, so let's just kind of fade it off like that. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna take some more white now. And let's see, right here. We'll start doing this glass here. That's kind of going off the canvas. And let's see, I'm gonna go kind of like this. I know I'm going white on a white canvas. And it looks silly, but it's all good. Okay, I'm gonna go over my traceable line here too, kind of bury that a little bit. All right, something like that. And let's see, I wanna go now, again, I wanna reflect this background into this glass through this a little bit. So I'm gonna go some of this burnt umber, raw umber kind of mixture, okay? No cleaning my brush. I'm just kind of wiping a lot of that paint off the brush, and I don't want to go all the way to this line. I want to leave a gap because that's the rim of the glass I want showing here. Okay, so again, just a little bit. Just a little bit. I want to go, let's see. This time I want to go a made black. It's a little bit different of a shift in light value, I think. So I'm going to go raw umber and phthalo blue for my made black. Okay, I'm going to put that value right there. I'm also going to put this value in here. Okay, again, it's not permanent black because the light's a little different here as opposed to over here. And we want to keep that realism going. So, just going to fill this in for now. Just kind of bring it up. Okay, just kind of do something like this. And again, because it's out of focus, I'm going to blend this up kind of into this, kind of right where it's at. I'm going to wipe a lot of that paint off the brush. And let's see, I'm going to just pet this up just a little. Like I said, right here, I want to blend it right here. Just kind of streak it up, maybe a little into here. Okay, just kind of in a distorted kind of a way. Okay, see, it's all about the blending. Very, very, very little pressure with my brush. And natural bristles are great for this, but the reason I'm using this nylon one instead of a bristle is because I'm in a controlled area where I want to be precise and specific with these glass details. And a natural bristle brush will kind of go all over, which is great if you're doing clouds and background and stuff. That's more abstract, but this is more specific with a glass, and I want to be able to control where I want these things to happen and how. So I'm just using this in a different way by using light pressure with the brush. Okay, so I'm gonna go skip a little bit and go down here with that, letting that paint run off a little bit and fade it off like that. And again, I'm gonna go for those fuzzy lines with this black left on my brush. Okay, see that? Something like that. We're getting there with that. And with that same value, just a little bit of paint left on the brush again. I'm going to apply this value in some places here where I'm going to have some shadow and dark spots on the glass. Okay, going to get this popping against some things here. Okay, again, those fuzzy lines, see that? Let's see, once again, I want to go back into this faded blue here. So I'm going to get a little bit more blue and raw umber again together. And again, the raw umber this time is just to dull the blue down a bit. Okay, give it that slight blue hue to it. Not much, but just a little. Very, very subtle. Subtle is the name of the game. All at once kind of renders a mess and flat, and you kind of lose all the realism that way when you go too hard all at once. All right, let's go a little bit of this in here. Okay, something like that. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this brush again. Again, I want to go pure titanium white. Okay, I want to play this together with all this stuff in here now. And I want to go right in here. So just getting this white, I'm just playing this in here. Okay, just kind of something like so. I'm going to take a little bit of this burnt umber now. Okay, just straight up. Okay, just a little bit. It's got a little bit of that white on there because I didn't clean. And right here, I want to reflect some of that background in there. Okay, a little bit more white now. All right, I'm going to go back to my 3/4 inch angle brush here. I'm going to go in here and start filling in the table here. And for that, what I'd like to do is take some burnt umber. Let's get some yellow into that. That's just to really warm it up. Okay, good amount of yellow. See that? I can really warm up this brown super well. Okay, wiping a lot of that paint off the brush because I want a lot of white now. And let's see, I'm gonna go looking for a very light beige color here. I'm thinking something like this, okay? General base color again, all about base colors. And I just want to fill in our table like so. Okay, I went a little harder here with my brush. You can see more pressure means more saturated color as opposed to over here. It's the same colors though. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get more titanium white on my brush. Okay, for a lighter value over in this area. Now, without cleaning, I want to take titanium white. I want to go real bright in this area here. See, I'm just going to put a base color down. I'm going to get another value, and I'm going to play on top of it so that I can see these other layers through this and give that realistic final look. Okay, when the colors play together like that with layers on top of one another. Oh, good. Okay. Let's see. More white. Now, just for the heck of it, to add some interest and all that, I'm going to play, let's see, some things in here. I'm going to go a little orange. Okay, I want to go into this color here, maybe a little of that. All right, let's get a little yellow, a little white. Okay, I'm just looking for kind of this kind of orangey color, maybe, something like that. Okay, no big deal. Just something general in that regard. And I'm going to go right here. Okay, I'm going to use the same brush, and I'm going to go into some more of that blue and raw umber. Okay, something like this. Let's get some of that white in there. Okay, something like that. Again, that blue hue. Okay, just kind of something light like this for that reflective color. Okay, a little reflective light there. Maybe there's a little bit right in here. Okay. Maybe the drink is reflecting onto the table a little bit off of it. It just kind of lights it up, I think. That really kind of does some things. Really cool things. All right, let's get that here. Okay, I'm going to get this number 6 filbert brush again. I'm going to go in here, got to have that bokeh. So I got to have this hard line fuzzed out again, of course. And for that, I'm going to take, again, some raw umber, maybe a little bit of that black. Okay, not too much, I don't know. Something generally dark for the background. Okay, wiping a lot of that paint off the brush again. I want to go not like this, but I want to position my brush like this because I want to fuzz over this and over this to give that blended look into each other, to give that out of focus. So I'm going to turn the brush perpendicular to it like that instead of with it, okay, adjacent with it. That's not how I want to do it. I want to go like this. Okay, I'll turn it over like that, get a little bit more color on the other side here. All right, see that? And see, I kind of went into my glass. That's what I mean. I should probably do this whole background stuff first and come forward, but I kind of made that mistake. I do apologize. Kind of led you wrong there a little bit. No, we're not perfect though. We make mistakes. That's okay. But see, acrylics is going to be very forgiving. All right. Tell you, with acrylics, you can cover a multitude of sin with this craft here. You don't have to have it. No one has to know. No one ever has to know. All right, let's get this a little bit darker right here to show some background, kind of sneaking, peeking right here. All right, and once again, with a clean brush and just pure titanium white again, I want to enhance. See, another layer means more opacity. It means the colors, they pop more, they show up more, the effects get stronger. Everything gets better with each layer. Look at that. See that? All right. Something like that. Maybe some more of this white in here a little bit. I don't know. I'm just going to sort of cloud this up and just kind of stir over it like this. Okay. And also, again, more titanium white. All right, I'm going to get more titanium white. We put some more of that right in here. Okay, a little bit lighter in this area. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to, with the same brush, I'm going to take that raw umber and burnt umber together. Okay, and I'm going to go right in here with this. Okay, I'm just going to block in pretty much all of this, except right over here, I want lots of white, so I'm going to leave, let's see, some of this alone right here. I'm thinking something right here, okay? Okay, there we go. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe this off now. I'm just gonna block in the values. So I'm gonna go back to this right here. All right, I'm gonna get a little bit of this blue. All right, just a little bit here, a little bit of blue into that, little raw umber into that, okay, into this value here, maybe a little bit of white. All right, something like that. Okay, just to get that tablecloth, you know, kind of look happening. Okay, leaving a bit of a line here so I don't get it too, you know, lost into that. All right, now let's see. Without cleaning, I'm going to take a little bit of this black and raw umber together. Okay, and I'm just going to glaze in just a little bit of this dark value, just here and there, just a little hint of it. I'm going to start working these things in here. I'm going to go with some titanium white now. And I want to go right on here. And I want to take this down and make this shape kind of at an angle like this. Okay. Really bring this in here. Okay, and also, let's see, I'm going to start making these reflections and shines happen. Okay, getting these little glass things to show up. All right, so now you may have guessed it. I'm going to go into that blue again for that blue hue, a little raw umber, because I want to dull that back just a little bit for some realism to that. Okay, that's super vibrant. Okay, there we go. There's that blue that I want. And let's see, I'm going to go very, very, very little paint on the brush. I just want to start glazing over this. And when I mean glaze, all I mean is very little paint on the brush so that you can kind of still see through it. Okay, with that transparency. And actually, you know what? I want a little bit more blue into that, I think. All right, let's go like this. There we go. I want a blue hue now. And I want to go again. There we go. More like this. All right, how about that? We're already starting to see that. Yeah, I tell you, glass is probably one of the easiest things you'll ever paint. It's not even about the glass. It's just about putting some values in and letting gaps happen and show. And that's all it is. Okay, put it here, put it there. Don't put it everywhere. Let some of that background show through, and voila, you got it. Glass all day. Be coming in strong. Okay. Now, let's see. I want to go a little more white. Let's go a little bit more blue. I really want this blue hue in there. I'm obsessed with this blue hue. I don't know why, but I am. All right, watch, because I want to put a stronger amount of it right in here. Just very subtle, see? Not super all at once. Subtle, subtle, subtle all day. Subtle is very effective. Okay, I'm just going to put that whole value in right here, and I'll change it up here in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to come down with some of this into here. Okay, just a bit. Oh, a little of that in here to kind of surround some of this white. Also right here. Okay, a little bit stronger blue. Right in here. Okay, down at the base of the glass here. What I'd like to do now, I'm just going to take some pure titanium white. Maybe just a hint of some of this, but mostly white. Okay, it's got a little bit of that blue hue, but mostly white. And I want to go another streaking little deal here. Okay, see that? Little things like this. Okay. Okay, just pure titanium white again. Brighten that up a bit. Okay, see? Just streaking these things in. Okay, no cleaning. What I'm going to do now, take some yellow and some burnt umber together. Okay, again, the yellow is just to warm up that brown. I'm going to take some titanium white. And let's get this little bit of a darker, but not too dark. Just a little bit more saturated on that beige color there. And I want to go in here. Okay, kind of break some of this up and show separations in here, little things happening. And actually, you know what? That's a little bit more warm than I wanted. So I'm going to get a little bit of raw umber into that, just a little bit. And see that? The difference here? A little bit dulled down than this. And that's exactly what I want right there. And watch again. Go right back over this. Change that value up. It's all good. See that? And I'm just going to blend this out just a little bit. I'm going to break up some of this in here, okay, with some of that value. Just a little bit. All right, and what I'd like to do now without cleaning is take some black. And let's see, right here. All right, just like that. Ain't that cool? Okay, put a little bit more of this in here too. What the heck? Okay, just kind of doing some things, fixing some things. It's all good. Okay, like that. I want to take some more of this orange and burnt umber, and let's see, let's go a little white to that. Okay, maybe a little yellow to that to warm that a bit. Okay, for that orange value again, and I want to go right in here. Okay, reflect some of that orange value that's on the table right here. Yeah, that's a cool thing about adding more colors and values, and you get to reflect some of that into the glass and really, make these pop and give more interest. Gives more opportunity to put more values in and really play some stuff around and have some fun with that. All right, I hope you guys are having fun. Let me know in the comments how this is going. I really want this to be super awesome and fun and exciting, and I don't want you to be frustrated. That's no fun. All right, some of that in here. I'm just gonna kind of glaze this in, just kind of show some difference and change up here maybe, okay? All right, I don't know. And let's go a little raw umber into that. Maybe this is a little bit of a shadow here, casting off of the glass here, I don't know. Okay, just very, very little pressure with the brush, very little paint. I'm just gonna kind of add this subtle little hint of a shadow here off the glass, maybe coming onto the table. Okay, something like that. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this brush now. Okay, with my same number 6 filbert brush, I'm gonna go ahead and do the plates here. Let's get those filled in and done that. And I'm looking, let's see, I'm gonna go for a green value. I'm gonna get some yellow. I'm gonna get some phthalo blue. Okay, now I want to get some raw umber just to dull that down. This is going to give me kind of a minty kind of a green, which is what I want to do. Okay, it doesn't have to be too critical. It's just background. Make the plates any color you want. All good. Okay, something like that, a minty green. That's what that raw umber's for. Just to make it into that. Okay, now I'm going to just kind of do this right now. Just kind of block these in, okay? Going to take a little bit more raw umber into this. Okay, gives me a much darker value. And I want to go kind of right here. Okay, and no cleaning. I'm just going to take a little bit more yellow now. Okay, just a little bit, and just want to kind of play this right here. I don't know, just some ways to blend some colors so I can give that bokeh out of focus effect, okay? Okay, no cleaning. I'm gonna take some yellow now and some white. Okay, some of this, let's see, a little bit more of that. There we go, something more vibrant for a highlight color. Always gotta have highlights. Okay, see, that just lights it up, ain't that nice? Okay, cleaning this brush off now. And now I'm just gonna grab just titanium white. I want to make the edges fuzzy for this glass for that out of focus effect, so I'm going to get some black and some raw umber. Okay, something like that. Very, very, very little pressure on the brush, or paint on the brush, I mean. And once again, let's go like this, petting this down, not going like this, but going like this. Okay, perpendicular to it so I can brush it off into both directions of the glass and the background and get that fuzzy line instead of a hard line. Okay, something like that. Isn't that cool? Okay, I know it's not much, but again, these small things make a huge difference. Huge, huge difference. In the end, it will tell the difference between this or that. And again, petting that over. Okay, something like that, and I'm gonna go ahead and clean this brush again. All right, and we'll see. I want to go just pure titanium white again, and I want to go something like this. Okay, so I'm just gonna pet this down again. I'm going to make this out of focus. Okay, so see, very, very light pressure, and I can get those fuzzy lines. And that's what it's all about in the bokeh world, getting those fuzzy, fuzzy lines. Okay, going back up this way as well too, see that? All right, and let's see. Okay, same thing on this side. Okay, so see, just a little bit of subtle differences, and I can get those out of focus things. I'm gonna also do that right here, just a way to get those fuzzy lines and everything, see that? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the turkey now. And before I do, I wanna make up just a few values here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a good scoop of yellow. Okay, and I'm gonna take just a teeny, teeny bit of orange, just barely any orange. Okay, you can see that little pin drop really changed it up, and if I'm not careful, it definitely will take over. Okay, and it's trying to right now. So let's get a little bit more white, or I'm sorry, white, yellow medium. Something like this. See that? For a very vibrant kind of yellowish orange. Okay, with that value there. Okay, and once again, let's get a bunch of yellow. And let's see, I want to get just a teeny, teeny bit of raw umber. Okay, not much at all. I just kind of want to dull that down just a bit. Okay, let's see. Okay, now I want to get some titanium white into that. Okay, just a teeny bit of orange. I mean, barely any. Just kind of want to orange this up just a little bit. Orange it up. I don't know if that's such a thing, but I'm going to say it is in my world. All right. Let's see, a little bit more orange, not much. Okay, again, just a pin drop. Pin drop at a time. I can always add more, but too much and you're done. Now you got to add more yellow and kind of play this pickle game back and forth of this and that. Okay. So I'm thinking something like that. Okay. And now without cleaning, I'm going to take some orange. Okay, just a little bit of yellow. So it's the opposite of what I did here. So it's going to be more orange than yellow. Okay, a little bit more yellow. That's really just to warm up the orange here, make it more vibrant. Really want to make this really lit up here. Okay, maybe I'll take just a little bit of burnt umber. Okay, that's just to dull it just a hair for some more realistic color. Okay, get that more realistic look to it. Okay, something like that, a very vibrant color. Okay, now again, I want to take some orange and I'll actually borrow some of this. All right, right there, not too critical. Let's see, a little bit more orange. Now I want to get some red. All right, looking for a very reddish orange here. All right, let's get some more of that going. And of course I can play with these colors and add little things and, you know, do what I got to do. Okay, so there's that value now. And again, I want to take, let's see, just a little bit of red. It's got some orange in there. It's all good. I don't care about that too much. I'll even borrow some of this. I'll come over here and kind of scrape this out of the way. Okay, so I got some red there, and I want to get a little bit of burnt umber into that. Okay, for a maroon color. And now what I'd like to do is take a good scoop of white. A really good scoop of white here, actually. Okay, something maybe kind of like that. And to that, I want to add just a little bit of violet to that. All right, let's get some violet going. Let's see what I get with that. Okay, something like that, I'm thinking. Okay, now I've got these values here. You can see I've got this, all these, and this is about what I want to play with right here. I'll change them and alter them, but it's easier to pull from these and to try to mix it every time, and then from there go again. So, all right, so I'm going to take my 3/4 angle brush now with these colors. I'm going to block in, I think, just a general value. So before I start playing all these, I think I just want to get some yellow and orange together. Okay. Maybe a little bit of burnt umber to just dull that back a bit. Okay, I'm just thinking kind of a base color here. Let's see, maybe if I add some raw umber, I can get this a little darker. I think I want to go kind of dark at first for some shadow, because I find that putting darker colors down and then building light ones on top, man, it really just pops it off of there and gives it that vibrance and shine when you got this undervalue. Okay, so something like this. Something like that, and I'm just gonna start going in here and just gonna base coat everything for now. Okay, and angle brush, a little bit of water on my brush, and hard solid lines. This is all in focus right here. Okay, the whole thing in total focus. Okay, and I'm going to leave a little gap in between these different things just so I don't lose where I want things to be, okay? So like right here. Okay, a little bit of gap there just to show where the differences are. So I'm going to add just a little bit more burnt umber, or I'm sorry, raw umber into that. Okay, I want it a little darker. Again, that's going to show some depth and dimension and really give me a playing field to pop some really bright highlight stuff and warm, vibrant colors and all that really cool stuff, okay? Okay, so I got this blocked in good. I'm gonna let that dry because I wanna put my values on top of it. If it's not dry, it's going to mix in with all this color and just kind of make mud and not really change much and be no different. So I gotta let that dry for that reason. And while that does, I'm gonna take my number 6 filbert brush again, start blocking in down here on the table that we're sitting on. And for that, I wanna take some yellow, a little bit of burnt umber to that. Okay, and I want to go some white. Okay, so let's see. I want to get a little bit more raw umber into there. There we go. I'm thinking something kind of like that. Maybe a little bit more. Okay, something like that. And I want to go in here and just go around all this stuff. Okay, again, just filling in the table stuff like so. Actually, I'm going to take some of this white and I'm going to take some phthalo blue to it. Let's see. And a little raw umber actually to dull that back. I'm going to go, let's see. Let's get some more white. Okay, kind of that tablecloth color. And I think what I want to do is come down here and kind of do this because I want to show this kind of on a platter. Okay, I have my number 6 nylon angle brush here. I'm going to start putting those values down on here now that I had made here. Okay, these values here, and to start off with, I think I'm going to take some of this vibrant orange, okay? And I'm going to place these values where they generally go. Again, this is kind of base color on top of base color. Starting to build it up a little bit, okay? And I'm going to hit this right here. Okay, for a vibrant section there, or a vibrant area, I should say here. Okay, where light's going to be hitting that, and it's going to be zinging off of that. Okay, and while I have this paint on the brush and this value going, I think I'm going to kind of work with this, and I'm going to get a little bit of white and a little bit of yellow to that. Okay, let's get a little bit more yellow and white. Okay. Okay, maybe some of this into it. All right, and on here with that. Okay, I'm just going to start putting these values where they go, basically. Okay, a little bit of that there. And let's see, I'm going to go a little bit of that in here. Okay. And I'm going to wipe most of that paint off the brush. And what I'd like to do is take some of this value now. And let's see, let's go somewhere in here. Okay, getting some more of this. I'm actually going to get a little bit of white in there for more opacity so it sticks better and it's not so transparent. Okay, and I'm just going to, there we go, I'm just going to blend this out just like this up here. Okay, just kind of doing something like this. Okay, getting these things to happen. All right, and let's see, I'm going to take some more of this vibrant orange. Okay, and I'm gonna go right here with that. Without cleaning, I'm gonna take some of this reddish kind of value here, okay? This reddish orange value that I made. And I wanna go in here with that, okay? And red is a duller and it also shows a darker area of things, so that makes sense right here especially. Okay, I'm also gonna place some of that in here. Okay, just a little bit. Okay, I don't know. I know it looks kind of weird, but this is how it is. You just get those values up there, it looks messy, and then you work with them. You play on top of them, and you let values play along with each other, and then it starts to really happen. It just kind of like magic, like I said. All right, I'm going to wipe a lot of that paint off the brush again, and let's go back into some more of this vibrant orange color here. Okay, and let's see, I want to go into some of this a little bit. See, like that. Okay, and now what I want to do, I want to go into some of this now, okay? Wiping a lot of that paint off the brush from before. And let's put some of that in here. Okay. Going back into more of that orange value that I made. Okay, just gonna kind of hit these where it goes, pretty much in its general location. Okay. Okay. Something like that. And now what I'd like to do is take, again, some more of this orange, and I want to go now burnt umber into that to dull that down. Okay. Let's see, let's get some more orange. Let's get some white. Okay. I don't know, something like that. And let's see. A little bit more burnt umber into that. Okay. I just want to go in here and kind of do this. All right, a little bit of red, a little bit of burnt umber, okay, for that maroon color. Okay, I want to go on top of that like this. Okay, I also want to stick this right in here. Okay, all these nice, wonderful values. All right, I'm going to go ahead and clean this brush now. And I want to take some more of this orange. Let's see, let's get some white. Okay, something like that. And again, I want to hit this area right up in here. Okay, one thing I'd like to do is take some of these yellow, orangey colors here and let's see, kind of do something like this, okay? And once again, I want to go in here. Yeah, see that? That's more what I want right there. But I have that other value there to play this on top of. So it's really giving me that final color. Well, not final because this isn't final yet, but it's giving me more of the color that I want. All right, so that's what I mean about values on top of other values playing together. That's really how we can create these different values and make them look real and look like they should and all that vibrance to them. It's not really one color you can make by itself. You have to play them together to get that final pop. All right, something like this. Okay. Something like that. All right. And let's see. Let's bring this kind of over here like this. Okay, if you get these openings that won't close, just let it dry. Don't even fight that. It's not even worth your time. It's not going to cooperate. And when it's dry, it can't fight you because it's not able to. It's kind of like it got frozen, and there's nothing it can do about it. So just let it freeze, let it dry, and it won't be able to fight you anymore. All right, that's the best policy. All right, let's go with this. And again, get some of these vibrant things kind of popping in and through here a little bit. Okay, here and there, not everywhere, just applying these different values. Okay, just playing them in there, getting them in there. All right, something like that. And now I want to clean this brush again. All right, now I want to take this value now, and I want to apply that right in here. Okay, again, I'm just getting base color in on top of base color. Not looking for details yet. I don't care about details right now. I purposely do not care about details. Those will come. But I got to have something to detail, and I have to have something to work with. All right. So I'm just going to blend this off like this. Hey, right there. All right, we're going to get a nice little shine little thing happening there. All right, and let's see. While I'm at it, I think I'm going to go a little bit more white to desaturate this down just a little bit more. Okay. Okay, a lot of paint off the brush, and right here with this. Okay, just like that. Another little highlight reflective color here happening to give it more gloss and shine. There we go. All right, and let's see. Kind of doing this. Okay, getting more of that light value out here where the light's hitting it the strongest, or stronger, I should say. Okay, something like that. And let's see, I'm going to go ahead and clean this brush now. Let's see, I'm going to take some black and some raw umber. Okay, something like that. And I want to go in here with this. Okay, right where these meet here. And I kind of want to do a little bit heavier, or thicker of a line, I should say, right here. Okay, getting all these things to happen. See that? Now we're starting to see some things take place here a little bit. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit more raw umber into that because I don't want it completely black. And right here. Okay, I'm just going to sort of fade this off right here, just to kind of show some texture and three-dimensional kind of a deal happening here. Okay, when I fade this off naturally on both sides, kind of gives it that 3D look. Okay, so just to enhance that some more, I'm going to get some more of that dark value, and I'm going to go right in between, or right in the middle of this. Okay, something like that. And I'm going to wipe a lot of that paint off the brush because I want to just take some red now. All right, and just want to go in here. And let's see, a little bit of black now. Let's get some black. I want to kind of go in here. Okay, just like this. Okay, I'm going to take my number 16 nylon flat brush, just a regular, basic flat brush. Use any brush you want. And I'm going to continue building up the layers here. I'm going to go back in with those values. Okay, as you know, layers means better each time, getting better all the time. And so let's see, I'm going to go into some more of this yellow. Maybe I'll add some more of this, or some of this yellow into it, okay? And just want to go another coat. As you can see it lays down better, more vibrant. This is all dry, and so now I'm getting even better at everything coming together, laying down better the way it is. See this little opening here? Let's see what happens now when I go over that. Okay. Still not completely covered, but look at it, did a really good job now. So as I say, don't fight. Don't ever fight your work in acrylics. That is like a waste of time. It just doesn't need to happen that way. Okay, anything you can change anything. All right, so nice striking highlight here with this yellow. I'm just gonna dust this out. Okay, very light pressure. Just kind of throwing this over here, light pressure over here with the brush, okay? And as paint leaves the brush, I can go a little harder actually and scrub it kind of dry. Okay, there's no water on this brush at all because it helps to blend. With just a little bit of paint left, I can scratch it out. Okay, and just kind of let the paint dissipate out. And as it dissipates out, it makes it look like it blends. Gives it that really nice gradient and that transition. Okay, but I want to actually grab this value some more. I want to go a little bit heavier in some places. This is really going to help to show the contour and the three-dimensional texture of this turkey. If I put it brighter here, maybe not so much here, brighter here, it kind of gives this like pop to it and that 3D look. Okay, so that's why I say when I paint, I say the motto here and there, but not everywhere. You got to leave some stuff alone or else it just won't look three-dimensional like it's supposed to. It'll just look flat. Okay, just kind of running that out right here in this area, kind of leaving that open a little bit. Okay, with that same value, I want to continue on. Okay, loading up more of that paint. You can see here, didn't really cover well with that first layer. And now we're going to cover it really good now in these next few layers or so. Really going to lay down nice and blend out smoother each time. It's going to really start to happen here. Okay. And just wait till we get to the highlights. That's when things are really going to pop and shine, when I get those bright highlights. But I got to build this up first. I can't go for all the details and all the highlights at once, or it just won't happen. It'll look really awful. Okay. And it's supposed to look awful at first. I need that awful underneath to pop through to give that realism and that texture and all that good stuff. Okay, let's get some more orange now. No cleaning. I'm going to get a little bit of yellow to warm that orange up. Just going to come down here and make this nice little value here. Let's get maybe a little bit of white, not too much. Okay, let's see. I need some more yellow to that. All right, I'm thinking something like that. See the difference here between here and there? That's why I don't go back into this color. I bring it over here because I've already got this into my brush. So if I don't go back into it and I take more yellow and come over here next to it, I'll be able to change the value up without it mixing again and just having the same color happen. So a little trick there for us. Okay, just move your pile away from it and it'll change up like it should. Okay, something like this, a nice vibrant warm orange, and I want to put that right in here, okay, where the light's going to be striking off of our turkey here. Okay, right in this area here. And I kind of want to break it up into here and get some of that red showing through here. And I'll come in here and, make that more obvious here in a minute. But I just want to, again, fade this down, okay? Because we're coming this way away from the light. It's not going to be as vibrant as it is up here, back in this area. Or quite the same, I should say, how the light's going to be hitting it. Okay, so just these awesome things, okay? Without cleaning, I'm going to take a little bit more yellow. And watch when I go on top of that with that yellow. Just gives it a nice ring and a zing. Okay, just have that orange playing through. Okay, just letting these values play together. One on top of another and just having that final color really pop out like it's supposed to. Okay, and I kind of want to tap this here just for some texture. I'm going to start building a little bit of texture here. Okay, dancing the brush around. You just kind of irregular, just however, always covering it up if it's not right. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Now we're going to start shining and singing here soon. Okay, now let's see. I want to go a little bit more yellow, maybe a little bit more orange. Okay, and actually, you know what? I want to get just a little red, maybe a little bit this color that I made. Okay, however, just kind of want to get that reddish color in there. Let's get a little bit more orange into that, okay? something kind of fiery like this. And gonna be another little highlight here, popping, zinging. All right, something like that. Okay, wiping a lot of that paint off the brush because I just want yellow again. Okay, something like this. Let's get a little white into that. There we go. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I love that right there. That's the nice color that I want there. And I want to go right in here and streak this, or zing this, I should say. Okay. Okay. Something like that. And maybe we'll strike some of that in here. Okay, a little stronger there. Okay. There it is. And let's see, I want to put some of this now in here. And I want to fade it down into this. Okay, natural, light and color and shadow play and all that, reflective color. Okay, I want to blend it up into this and blend it over into this area. Okay, like this. All right, now let's see. I'm just gonna sort of blend this up a little bit so I can have some of this color involved. Okay, it makes it more natural and brings it together a little bit better. All right, something like that. Lovely. All right. And there's gonna be a lot of white in here, so I want to put some of this lighter value on top of this to make that white pop off of this a little bit more. Okay, it's easier to cover up things with lighter values on top of, light values instead of on dark values. It's harder to cover up a dark value. So just a little bit more of that orangey yellow color. Okay, just want to get some of that in here. All right, something like that. I'm going to go ahead and clean that brush off now. I want to start building the shine on here a little bit, so I'm going to go again with some of this, and I want to go a little bit more white into that. Okay, actually a little bit of red, more red into that. All right, there it is. Maybe something like that, and I just want to, again, another value means it's going to pop and become more vibrant, okay, with another layer on top like this. Okay, and I'm going to start dancing these little things and see with the corner of the brush, I'm going to create some texture here. Okay, letting these other darker values show through a little bit, okay, as I do this. And of course I can play them back and forth, go to the darker one and cover the light ones if too much light is involved. Okay, play them back and forth and build it up until it gets better each layer. If you don't like what you're seeing yet, it just means you need more layers. It will get better, promise. I promise, I promise. You can call me whatever you want if it doesn't. I'll take it. All right, throw your tomatoes if need be, but I'm telling you, you're gonna be putting those tomatoes down in a minute. Because you're gonna be like, man, Mike, it worked out. All right, let's see. Let's put some of that right in here too. I wanna reflect some of this value in this kind of way here. Okay. Just kind of something like this. All right, and then we'll do something like this. See this? Just kind of putting these little hashes in here. Okay, something like that. I'm also going to do that up here a little bit. Okay, get these kind of ready and all right, now we can see a little texture here on the bird happening. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and clean that off now. I'm gonna get a little bit of this reddish color here. Okay, a little orange in that. Remember I mixed in. Okay, and I'm gonna go into here and I'm gonna just kind of play this around. Okay, a little bit like this, just kind of breaking it up. Again, this shows texture and things on our turkey here. Okay, giving it that realistic look to it. And I'll do it out here as well with some of this. And I'll get some of that in here. All right, I don't know, just kind of tapping away. And by tapping it and dancing it around, it kind of just automatically creates that texture of the turkey. You can see here, super easy to do. Just go for it. I'm telling you, there's no right or wrong. Okay, just kind of bringing that into this a little bit to kind of show that transition sort of happening there. Okay. Now what I'm going to do without cleaning, I'm going to take some raw umber and burnt umber together. Okay, just something kind of darker. Okay, a little bit of that red in there, which is fine. Totally fine. Okay, I'm going to go in here. And let's see, I'm going to kind of dance this around between some of this red a little bit, okay? Okay, it shows that it got cooked in the oven. It's ready, it's done, it's juicy, everybody's hungry. And we are ready to eat and say grace, or whatever your tradition is. And we're gonna do this. All right, let's see. Let's go like this. All right, something like that, just building this texture up. Building, okay. I like that, and let's see, I'm gonna go with some of that over here. I gotta get this dark in here a little bit. I wanna pop some things off of this, but I need some dark involved. Also down here, let's put some of that. Okay, I don't know, just kind of, however. And let's see, while I have this color on my brush, I want to start kind of, well, let's see, let's go a little bit more of that value. Let's see. All right, I just kind of want to do these little things here. See this? This is really going to start to build the texture of the bird here. Okay, now that I've got these layers down, I can start building some things on top of it and getting those nice shadows and, you know, texture built on it. Okay, start putting details on top of stuff now. See that? All right, let's go with, and I'm just kind of using the corner of the brush. I'm dancing it around. I'm not really worried about too much because it just works. You know what I mean? It'll just happen. And I can play these colors back and forth, and like I said, cover anything if it's not right. All right, let's get that happening here. I want to put a little bit of a groove, maybe a little bit heavier right here. Okay, and then just kind of do these other things over here. Okay, loading up more paint, just a little bit. There we go. Okay, just a little paint at a time. When it comes to these effects and texture, you always want less paint than you think you're going to need, unless you're blocking in, which is fine, go for it, put a lot of paint on. But once the blocking in is pretty much complete, you really want to take just a little bit of paint at a time, because you can always add more, but if it's too much, then you get this mess, and then you got to deal with it and kind of blend it out and just kind of do these things that, you know, you got to do. But it's all good. All right, always fix it. It just takes more time maybe, but anything, you can fix anything. Okay, so I'm talking something like this maybe, yeah. And let's see, I'm gonna go in here with some of this and kind of add some shadow and some texture for that. Okay, and let's see, I want some darker areas in here to kind of pop through this a little bit. So I'm gonna add some of that in here and just kind of there. I'm gonna go back over this. I'm gonna go around some of this dark and add some more highlights in here. That's really gonna contrast, really pop out that texture when I get those other values involved here, okay? Let's go in here. All right, I don't know. We're just gonna get this happening here. Okay, surrounding this a little bit. That pops this out with this darker value. Kind of lay it in here a little bit. Okay, just kind of this, kind of that. play it here, play it there, play it everywhere. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and clean this brush off now. I want to get that dark out of there. And let's see, I want to go some brighter stuff, okay? Again, another layer equals brighter. And for that, I want to go a little bit more white and yellow. And let's get some white again. Okay, let's get some more yellow into that. Okay, going over here next to this pile. I don't want to go into it because watch. See, that just changes it and gets it more what I want. Okay, just changing the location of your pile is all it takes. And you won't be struggling so much with making your color different or getting it to change. Okay, so right in here, I'm going to dance this in here. Not everywhere, of course. I don't want to take over all these values. I want them all playing together. Okay, all good, just like so. All right, now we're getting some more things to pop. Let's pop this. We'll highlight out here, okay, just right here. Just a little bit, okay, fading that off a little bit, light pressure. So this is a perfect lesson and the perfect piece to practice blending and dancing the brush for texture. It's really a well-rounded picture. And you got some bokeh stuff out here. Okay, super awesome. You can totally have so much to work with and practice with. And these techniques will take you anywhere to any painting. Okay, so just a little bit of this paint, this value here. I'm gonna glaze just very lightly with paint left on the brush. You can still see the texture that I put down, and you can still see some of the yellow popping through. Okay, as I bring it over here, I'm gonna go ahead with light pressure, a little bit heavy. I'm gonna use my finger to wipe some of that off. Okay, and you can really just make this glow happen. Okay, the light's hitting this bird, it's juicy, it's ready to eat, and it's glowing at you, screaming your name. It's time to eat. Let's get this going. Let's get this party started. Okay, and let's see, let's place some of that in here. All right, I don't know, just okay, just using my finger. It's all good. You can totally do that. You're allowed to. I give you permission. Use your fingers if you need to. All right, let's see. Let's go in here. See, I want to go into these values a little bit. I don't want to just leave them out, because if they don't come together, they don't play together, and it doesn't look as natural. It looks more like a kaleidoscope of colors and just kind of something that's not too realistic looking. You know, I want the whole thing to come together and look like it's supposed to. All right, and down here, I want to get some of this involved, okay? Right underneath this guy here. And let's see, I'm going to have some of that bright highlight. Okay, striking off the chicken wing or the turkey wing right here. All right. All right, now let's get some of this red. Okay, maybe some of this burnt umber into it. Actually, I want to go a little bit darker on this. Okay, yeah, perfect. Okay, and right under here. Okay, get this going here. All right, I don't know, we got some texture building up there. And let's see, what I'd like to do now is take a little bit more of this red, and now I want to go raw umber, because this is going to be a little darker now. Let's see. And you can see some of that orange on there I didn't clean. It's all good. See, you can just kind of mix these colors and keep your brush loaded and going and just go back and forth. All right, so I want to go a little bit there. Okay, just getting that. All right, something like that. And I want to go kind of this number here, where I can kind of do these little things here, these texture things. See that? Okay. Okay, and right here, I just want to attach the bird here with this part here. I don't know, there's that, and then there's this. Okay, something like that. And I'd like to do is take a little bit more orange, and I want to take a little bit of white. Okay, let's take a little bit of burnt umber to that, just to dull it back, and now some more white to bring it up. All right, something maybe like this. Okay, a little bit more raw umber or burnt umber to that. Okay, dulling that down a little bit. And let's see, I want to go with some of this, maybe right in here. Okay, just a little bit of a different value change there, maybe. Okay, not covering everything up. Okay, just kind of blending this out. All right, something like that. Let's see. I want to go a little bit more of this color here and maybe a little white to that. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know, not too bright. Something like that, I'm thinking. And just kind of tapping. Okay, just these little things, little openings. Okay, not covering it all up. See all these little subtle openings, and that's the key word, subtle. You just want to play a little. This is why I say a little bit of paint, because a little bit of paint means you can still see these other things. That mess underneath will act as texture that pops through these colors. So when you look at it, you can see the color and all the texture with it, and that realism that happens. That's why I say very little paint when you do these effects. Always want little paint on effects. Too much paint will cover them up, and then again, you'll just get another color that lays down and doesn't really have the effect of realism or the texture. And so too much paint will, like I said, will just cover that up and kind of leave you hanging. You kind of have to go back and do it again, or try to figure out why it's not, looking realistic. But that's why. It just means too much paint sometimes. Okay, so again, a little bit of paint. I just want to come in here and strike this, a little bit of edge of this here. Okay, just right there in that area. Okay, and let's see. I want to go again. I want to hit these highlights and really get them to pop here. Okay, building that up, and let's see. While I have this on my brush, again, I'm going to tap here and there, not everywhere. Again. Okay. All right, I'm gonna put a little bit of that right here. Watch this. Okay, tap, tap, tap. Doing these little things. See this? All right, ain't that nice? Okay. And remember, as I said before in other videos, when you do highlights and you let other values show with it, with those highlights and these textured dancings, is that a word? That's a new term. I just made it up. Textured dancings is what I'm gonna call this. And that's where you can use that to show what the texture is like. Is it smooth? Is it like, bumpy? Like in this case, the bird has this like bumpy, like, skin texture. And so doing these highlights and these dancings here is really going to show that. Okay, so that's really good. You put the layers on, you build up the colors, and then you dance the brush in such a way that you decide what the texture on that's going to look like. Okay, all good. You can do anything you want. And I go right here, but I want to keep this orange alive there. Okay, just kind of something like that. Okay, and let's see, let's put a little streaker right there of this. All right, building her up, building her up. Go ahead and clean this brush now, and I want to dry it off pretty good. Not too dry, but pretty dry. Okay, I don't want to cut through my paint. I want to lay it down, and too much water will render me this cut through instead of lay down kind of thing happening. All right, I'm gonna go a little bit of yellow now into that to warm this up just a bit, okay, for that nice vibrant red. And let's see, I want to go in here again. Just adding some of that red in, not a lot. Okay, not everywhere. Okay, maybe just a hint right there. I don't know. And also, right here, want a little bit of that red, just kind of right there, maybe. I don't know. Just a hint. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and clean that red off of that. Again, I want to really dry this brush off because I really want the paint to lay down and not cut through, especially with yellow, or yellow tones, I should say. Okay, I'm gonna get some of that yellow. I'm gonna go into here. Okay, just a teeny bit of that orange. Okay, mostly yellow. Let's go back in here. And once again, let's get this vibrance to happen here. Another layer down. I'm gonna go around some of this dark stuff, just kind of dance this in. Okay, just like so. Especially out here, I want it really vibrant. Right. So without cleaning now, I'm gonna take just a little bit of orange, not much again. I'm gonna take some more of this yellow. I want this more orangey color, or orangey yellow, I should say. Okay, just like that. And right here, yeah, perfect. I want to get more of that orange value right there. Okay, really vibrant stuff. All right, lovely. All right, let's see. Yeah, I'll keep that more orange, more yellowish down in here. Okay, that's a nice little transition there, I think. Okay, now with that same value, I'm gonna block in some more stuff. I'm just gonna go right here, okay, while I have that value, because that is the value I wanna put right here. Maybe some cheese on the platter, I'm not sure, just something in the background. Okay, and then I wanna grab, let's see, a little bit more orange, maybe a little red to that. Okay, and just gonna kind of do that. Okay, just those little things. Okay, and without cleaning, I'm going to pick up just a little bit more red. And down here, just kind of want to do this, just a little hint. Okay, not much, just like that. All right, and let's see, I'm going to go ahead and clean that off now. I'm going to go back to my number 6 filbert brush here. I'm going to start doing some specific highlights now and really making this shine and pop. All right, I'm going to start working on some of that. Let's see, I want to get just some titanium white. Let's see, just maybe something like this. And I want to start hitting some really heavy duty highlights here. So like over here, I'm just going to say like this, and let's see, I'm going to go where I want it the brightest and heaviest, which is more on the outside right here. I'm just going to sort of hit this right here, kind of solid. To show light really hitting it right there. And as I come down here, I want to start breaking it up, okay, just like this. This is going to really show the texture of the bird here. Okay, all that skin texture, all that gloss and shine and that yumminess that everybody wants, okay? Okay, something like that. And let's see, let's go with this. Okay, just gonna run this up. Okay, and again, I'm gonna tap this off like this. See that? Dancing the brush around. If I dance it around, it's gonna give me that texture that I want. Okay, loading up some more pigment on my brush here. And again, not too heavy. Not too heavy because I will lose the effect and I'll just get a bunch of mess and paint and, you know. All right, so as I do this, I want to go kind of something like this, just kind of make these little things happen. Okay, see that? It's just really, it's starting to happen now. So since I'm getting further away from the light here and it's getting down into here, I want to add just a little color to this. Not much, okay? Just maybe some of this. Okay, very, very light, like that. Okay, and I want to go just kind of something like this. Okay, just kind of working these little things in like this. See that? And I'm going to go up into this white a little bit just to show that transition happening. Okay, just kind of like that. Okay, I'm gonna get some more white without cleaning because I wanna go more titanium white right in here, okay? See, just a little heavier. And this is really gonna pop and shine this out of here super well. See, I'm leaving those darks alone as I come back in here. Okay, and I'm just dissipating this off, letting the paint run off the brush. Just kind of bringing it down, letting it do what it wants. All right, and let's see, I'm gonna go boom, 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 like this. Okay. But isn't that nice? Look at the texture starting to happen here. It's so neat. Like I said, one of my favorite things about acrylic painting, and probably the most favorite part, is watching this come to life right before my very eyes. It's like magic. Such an awesome show. It's not even my show, it's the acrylic show. It's the way that acrylics are, and I love it. Absolutely love it. Okay. So, a little bit more breakup there, and let's see. Here's one thing I want to do. Let's get some of these little dots. See that? Just like that. Okay. All right, awesome. Loving it. I'm gonna go up here again with some more white. Okay, right in here. Wiping more paint off because I don't want to go too much all at once. I want to be able to work with it without it taking over. Okay, and look, see some of these other places where it's not as bright, I left that open and that adds to it even more. Okay, always here and there, not everywhere, even when you go another layer. Don't cover all that stuff before with everything. When it comes to texture, you want to leave even the stuff before some of it that's not as opaque and bright, because that's going to add, like I said, to more of that realistic look of texture that you want to build. And it's all about leaving stuff together instead of covering it all up. Unless it's just a blatant mistake or, you know, something that you didn't mean to do or whatever, yeah, cover it up, but not when you want to do these little cool things. Okay. Like I said, I want it more heavy and full right here. Okay. More titanium white again. Okay, just loading up more. And again, leaving some of this here. Gotta leave some of that. Ain't that nice? Okay, see, just like that. Okay, just some of it. Okay, let's see. I want to go a little bit lighter here. Okay, just scratching just a teeny bit of paint, because see, when I scratch it just a little bit with paint left on the brush, it makes it look like these values are actually brighter and popping. And so when I do that against some of this dark stuff right here, it really puts the crevice and the dimension and the texture to pop that much more. Okay, so just getting that established there. Okay. All right. Now with some of this white left on my brush, I'm just going to hit okay, so that looks like natural light just like shining off of that. Okay, just like that. And let's see, let's put a little bit more of that white in here. Okay, just to brighten up what's already there, because that other color is going to show through. Okay, so it doesn't look like just white. Okay, but now I want to go really heavy with white, and I just want to go, let's see, kind of like this right here. Okay, a little bit heavier. Okay, again, just dancing the brush right in this area. Let's also get that in here. Gotta hit these. Can't leave these out. All right, so. All right, something like that, maybe, yeah. All right, this is where it gets really good. This is where it's like, where it's all happening, okay? Okay, something like that, yeah. Okay, getting some more white, and right up here. Gonna hit it a little bit stronger in this area here, okay? Okay, cleaning that off. As you can see, layers building up, dancing the brush on top, building it up. Let's do that some more. Let's get some yellow, or sorry, some orange and some yellow. Okay, and maybe a little white. All right, something super vibrant, okay? A super vibrant orange, something like that. And one more time, I want to dance this in, okay? Watch, it just makes it pop again that much more. Okay, and I don't want to cover everything, of course, and take over all things. Love the glow. Always got to have the glow. If you don't have the glow, you kind of don't have much happening, because it's just, you know, it's just that way. Got to have that glow. Okay, I'm wiping a lot of that paint off the brush. I want to take some more yellow into that, okay, for that orangey yellow. And again, right here. Okay, just doing some things. Let's go back in here with some of that. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and wipe that color off, or actually clean that off, I mean. Okay. All right, now let's see what I'd like to do to really contrast this up and brighten this area up. I want to take some more of that red, and I want to take some raw umber now for something darker. Okay, as you know, got to have darks and lights playing to contrast. Okay, a little violet into that now. Okay, just something kind of like this. I want to go in here a little bit with that. Okay, just a little bit, just here and there, not everywhere, just kind of in this area right here. I can make that texture more dramatic that way too. All right, something like this. All right, I like that, and I'm gonna place some of that in here just a little bit. Okay. Okay, see that? That just adds something to it, I think. All right, and okay. I'll even place some of this value over here just a little bit, just to show some of that reflective light kind of bouncing around just a little bit, and also in here a little bit too. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and clean that value off. Now, one more time, right in here. Okay, lovely, loving it, loving it. Okay, awesome, awesome. And let's see, let's put some more of that white in here just to brighten it up a bit. Okay, yeah. Okay, just a little bit of paint left. I just want to glaze this down one more time again. See this? Going back and forth, going through it again and again. Getting her all built up. Take a little bit of burnt umber and raw umber and maybe just a little bit of yellow to that. Okay. I'm thinking something kind of like this. And got to have a shadow back here, so I just want to go like this. Okay, wiping a lot of that paint off the brush, because now what I want to do is, where I left this gap open especially, is just show shadow play right here. So I'm going to fade this off. I don't want it as dark as where I started it, because as you know, with objects, the darkest part of the shadow is nearest to the object, and as it gets away from the object out here, it dissipates and gets lighter to show natural shadow play. And I want to show that natural shadow play by doing very light pressure with my brush as I take it away from where I first laid it down right here as it gets lighter. Okay, that's going to give me that realism and that look that I want here of 3D action. Okay, something like that. Let's see. I can always cover this up too, or I can even wipe it off while it's still wet if it's gets out of whack, out of line, out of whack, whatever. Okay. Okay, just kind of stirring it up right there, letting it fade off. Okay, it's all about that fading and that blending again. Great practice, great piece for this kind of practice here. Okay, something like that. I'm gonna go, let's see, under here a little bit more pressure with the brush. You can see it's a little heavier, laying it down right here for more shadow. Okay. Okay, something like that. And also more of that down here to show more in the shadow area where it folds into the turkey right here. Okay, by just doing this area. Okay, gives it that 3D look. How about that? Let's put a little bit of that right in here. Okay, and a little bit in here. Okay, I'm gonna really pop this texture out of here. I'm gonna start putting that dark a little bit here, a little bit there. Okay, see, just like that. There we go. All right, now without cleaning, just taking some permanent black. Let's go in here and make this real dark in here, okay? There we go. Also right in here too again. And I'm going to kind of fade this off a little bit, this black just a bit right here. Okay, again, that shows natural shadow play where there's separations between parts of the bird here, okay? See, just like that. And let's see. I want to go a little bit of this right here too, okay? Just to show shadow play. All right, just like that. And let's go real dark with that black right here. This is really going to help to show that realistic shadow play again. Okay, just like that. I'm going to go ahead and clean that black off. So to have some more fun here and make it a little bit more, you know, dramatic and all of that, what I'm going to do is take some more red and burnt umber together, okay? Just kind of something reddish brown kind of deal. I'm not going to put any other colors in or brighten it. This is going to be, again, just for some more texture things. And it also enhances the highlight here too with those dark areas while showing texture all at the same time. All right, I forgot there's also, make this pop a little bit more. Let's put a little highlight. Let's see, a little bit more white. Let's put a little bit of a highlight right here on the very edge, or this little part here. See, a little bit of highlight right here. I'm gonna go with some green value now for some kind of Christmas-like mistletoe stuff. I don't know. Let's see. Let's go some yellow. Let's go some phthalo blue, okay? For green, now I want to get some raw umber into that because I want a dark, dark green here. Okay, you gotta have the shadow first. And the same number 6 filbert nylon brush, I'm gonna use this, and I'm gonna go right here and just kind of do these little things here. See these little Christmassy like kind of deals here, okay? Something like this. Okay, just gonna lay that in right there. Let's see, I think I'm gonna go something like this. Okay, I'm gonna go over some of these grapes here a little bit. All good. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna stop on that for a minute. I'm gonna do the grapes first because I want some of this mistletoe stuff to go over the grapes. And if I do the mistletoe stuff first and then do the grapes, it's gonna be backwards. So I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna go red, some violet. Let's see. I'm gonna get a little raw umber to dull that back. Now I want to get a good scoop of white. Okay, let's see what I get here. Okay, I'm thinking something like this. A nice kind of purpley glaze or color here for the grapes. And actually, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm going to get rid of this brush. Okay, I'm going to actually go to my number 2 nylon flat brush. It's going to help to get in the smaller areas here. So I'm going to do this again. I'm going to go back into that same value. Okay, again, use the brush you're comfortable with. It's all good. It doesn't have to be any brush that you don't want to use. Maybe you're not comfortable using the same ones I'm using. Maybe your ergonomics and the way that you paint is better with a different brush, and vice versa with me and someone else. That's why I say art is so universal. That's why I laugh when I hear these people that say, oh, it must be done this way. This is the correct method. Like, you know what the correct method is? The one that works for you. That's the correct method. Okay, you know what I'm going to do first is always, I got to get a darker shadow color first. Okay, always got to have shadow first. So a little bit of raw umber into that mixture of that red and that violet. Okay, let's go like this. There we go. I want to do this before I put anything of color down, because I got to have something to pop with, and I got to have shadows, all that 3-dimension. All right, gotta. Okay, so just basic circular shapes. It's all good. Anything you want to do, you can make these as big or small as you want. Make them different sizes. There, we'll have one go off the canvas here. Maybe a few of them go off the canvas. Okay, something like that. I'm gonna go ahead and clean that brush off now. I'm gonna take that same brush, I'm gonna take that same color, and I'm gonna say like this, and I want to go just some of this like this. Okay, just kind of highlighting this. Okay, something like that. Okay, now without cleaning, I'm gonna go just pure titanium white, okay, for a very bright highlight. And I want to nail not all but some of this color. See that? I want to leave some of that lighter maroon, but I want to hit this bright highlight on just some of it. Okay, see, just like so. Something like that. Now, let's see what I'd like to do. Oh, you know what? I forgot one. Let's get some raw umber and red and violet back together again, okay, for that kind of base color there. And let's get this one right here. Okay, wiping a lot of that paint off the brush, and again, just pure titanium white. And booyah. Okay, just like that. Now what I want to do is take some raw umber now without cleaning. And let's go under here, and I want to build a shadow. Like this one right here. Okay. Okay, always got to have a shadow for everything. It says that it's there and not just floating in the picture. Okay, super important. Okay, shadow right there, shadow in between. Okay, something like that. And you know what else too is, while I'm here, I'm gonna make these little wood grain details. I'm gonna take some raw umber, and I'm just gonna kind of show this stuff in here, a little texture. See this? Okay. Okay, it just, I don't know. Just kind of do something like this. Just kind of run this around. It's all good, and there's no right or wrong. Okay, just kind of shows that. Okay, now what I'd like to do is take a little bit of burnt umber, maybe a little bit of black, just a little bit. Okay, not too dark. Same number 2 nylon flat brush. I want to go in here, and what I want to do is got to have a shadow under our turkey here on the little platter here. So I'm gonna go like this. Always, always, always. Okay, something like that. And what I'd like to do, let's see, let's get our little saucer here. There's a little saucer going off the canvas here. And I'm just gonna take a little bit of white and black, kind of a gray color here. And let's see, I wanna go fill this in a little bit, yeah, like that. Okay. And now I'm gonna go, without cleaning, into some more of that red and violet, and we'll see a little burnt umber, just kind of get that reddish look again. Okay, there we go, that same color of these cranberries. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna take actually some black now to get a little bit of this, okay, darker for shadow color. And I want to go right up to this rim right here. Okay, and I'll do something like this, see that? Kind of looks like a little, maybe a little saucer there, I don't know. And maybe I'll bring it around like this. All right, I'm gonna clean that brush. And I'm gonna go back to my number 6 filbert brush here. And I'm gonna go some yellow, some blue, and let's go a little bit of raw umber now, okay, for that dark green here to start with. Okay, getting that nice edge on that. And I wanna go back in here and kind of do this number here, okay, see that? Okay, some little things there. I'm gonna go ahead and clean that brush now. Let's do some fun stuff. Let's get some highlights. Let's go some blue and yellow together, okay, for a green. All right, and well, let's see. Let's go a little bit more yellow and blue. I want to get some really good green color here. There we go. Something nice and green, just like that. Nice vibrant green. That phthalo blue really gives that green vibrance, and when you put it into yellow. Okay, and I want to go on top of this now. I don't want to cover all that shadow up, but you know, we'll just say something like that. Of course, as you know, with highlights and with green, you want some yellow and white. Okay, just a little bit, and let's see. Just a little bit, just here and there, not everywhere, okay? Just striking some of it. Okay, same thing here, just kind of throwing that in. Okay, something like that. I'm gonna go ahead and clean that brush now. All right, I'm gonna stick to my number 6 nylon filbert brush here. I'm gonna continue on. Let's block in our orange slices here. So very simply, just gonna take some orange and yellow, maybe a little bit of burnt umber to it, just to dull it back a bit, okay, for that realism. Okay, so let's see. I don't know, something, wiping a lot of that paint off the brush. Let's move the pile right here. Okay. And I want to go in here. What I'm actually going to do now is take a little bit of white and yellow. Okay, just like this. And I'm actually going to go back over this here. See that? I can change the value. I want to let this blend in actually and work with this orange because I want it more like this. Okay. I know it's a little bit of a difference, but not much. Okay, but it is a difference. And let's see, I want to go now just orange. Straight up. And let's go different here. Let's go. Okay, see, just separating these values, getting this blocked in. Okay. Okay, something like that. We got some oranges happening here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and clean this off now. Okay, I'm going to go some titanium white, a little yellow. Okay, and I want to go back on top of this here. See that? Okay, for this value here, this is going to get it more realistic looking. Okay. Okay, again, building up some layers here. I'm going to go with some more orange, and now I want to take some burnt umber into that orange. Okay, a little bit darker. And down here. All right, something like that. All right, and then also too, we want to put some of this right here to show shadow from the wing here of the turkey, kind of casting over this orange here as it's sitting here. Okay. Okay, just like that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and clean that brush off. Just pure titanium white. Let's find a spot here where I can not mix anything else with it. Okay, there we go. And let's see, I'm going to go with the corner of the brush. I'll fill this little thing in here. Okay. And let's see, I'm going to make these little, as you know, these little wedges here. A little bit more white. Okay, something like that, I'm thinking. And honestly, what I want to do now is take a little bit of orange and burnt umber and yellow. Okay, more like this. Maybe let's get a little bit of white into that. More yellow into that maybe. Okay, a little bit more orange maybe. There we go. Okay, this is more of a realistic orange, I think, than what I have there, but that's cool because I got a base color there to work with. And watch. I can just change it. See that? Awesome, awesome. Anytime. All good. Okay, something like that. I'm going to go ahead and clean that off now. And let's see. Let's get some more of this for shadow color. I just want to do some raw umber straight up. Okay, all good. Just a little bit. Something like that. Let's get this down in here. Gotta have shadows. Always, always shadow. Okay, right here. Okay, and I'm going to take just some of that value and just kind of go like this, okay? There's a little bit of shadow right here, like I said, from the wing here. Kind of casting over it, okay? Just a little bit right there. Maybe a little bit of that right in here, I don't know. Just a teeny bit. Okay, with my script liner brush, lots of water and permanent black, I'm going to go ahead and sign right here. And as always, I want to thank you so much for following along and supporting me, and I do appreciate you so very much. If you're new, please do me a favor and subscribe if you haven't yet. That really encourages me and it helps me to continue to make these lessons, and I do appreciate that so very much. And if you have any questions or comments, please let me know down below. I'd love to answer anything to the best of my ability. And again, don't forget to check out Patreon for the traceables. It's only $3 a month. You get access to every traceable, to all videos that I do, past, present, future, and it never changes. That's the same rate every month. So that also helps to support me, and I do appreciate that very much. Totally check that out. And again, as you can see, some detail stuff, some bokeh stuff, some textured brush dancing. It's all happening. Very great lesson for practicing so many things, blending, all of that stuff. So totally check this out. It's very simple. Cover something if it's not right. Acrylics is always your friend. It will always work out. And with that, guys, thank you again. And I want to wish you guys happy holidays and happy painting to you.